Hi, I want to talk about a little understood aspect of spirituality and religion, which is, I suppose we can call it the shamanic ordeal. Um, although the term shamanic is highly contested because it should just refer to the shamans of Siberia, but it's been used more widely to refer to all kinds of things that it doesn't necessarily apply to. I think this experience is called the shamanic ordeal because it was first identified and recognised as a part of shamanism, in that a shaman has to undergo a fairly radical transformation, usually through some kind of experience that we might call a psychotic episode, even, but it sometimes involves hallucinations or a severe illness. And in shamanism, I believe, as far as I understand, this happens spontaneously. Now, other religions and traditions, especially magical traditions, have attempted to sort of create a more formulaic, standardized experience to replace the spontaneity of the shamanic ordeal. So one example of this is something we see in the Villa of the Mysteries at Pompeii. There's one of the murals there depicts someone being scourged or flogged, likely, one hopes, with some kind of whip, right? Now, a lot of people think that, oh my God, that's so kinky, can't do that, like, that's weird, but it's actually a fairly widespread phenomenon. And so the idea of it is to create some kind of heating within the basal chakras, which then rises up and causes a transformation within the chakras, or within the endocrine system, if you prefer. So other examples of this, in Freemasonry, they have a death and rebirth experience, where the candidate for initiation literally kind of descends into a grave and then re-emerges, kind of reborn. If you think about Christianity, Christ said to Nicodemus, you must be reborn in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. I think it's been a while since I've read that book, But anyway, the obvious example is the Christian baptism by full immersion, like when they have those full-on baptisms where you got two big burly guys grab the baptismal candidate and basically push them underwater for a couple of seconds. That's pretty scary. I think I'd be happier with the scourging thing, thanks. But anyway, the idea of all of these rituals is death and rebirth. So you're sloughing off some aspect of your prior existence, as a regular human being, and being reborn as a shaman or a witch or a Freemason or a Christian or whatever it is, okay? So you're recreating yourself as a magical or spiritual being. That's the idea. So another way to do this can be through ordeals that you've devised for yourself personally. So it could be, let's say you're afraid of the dark, so you go and spend a night in a burial mound, right? And then you emerge at dawn. So very symbolic of rebirth. Another example could be one time, I do a lot of kayaking, and if you're going to do kayaking, you need to be able to capsize your kayak and get out of it underwater and bob back up to the surface. And let me tell you, that is a pretty initiatory experience, because it's like, I'm underwater and I'm going to drown and I can't breathe, right? A bit like the Christian baptism thing, to be honest. Now, I don't know, outside of the traditions I've mentioned, I'm not sure if other traditions have some kind of initiatory ordeal. But the idea is that that the fear and possibly the pain and the, you know, somewhat unpleasant nature of the experience jolts you out of your everyday sort of consciousness and hopefully ignites some new version of yourself. And that new version of yourself, by having experienced a death and rebirth experience, is then able to access the underworld, which is the source of much of shamanic experience. So I think that, I mean, one of the things that's really powerful about these kind of experiences is that everybody who is in a given tradition, whether that's Freemasonry or Wicca or some other initiatory tradition, has experienced the same initiatory experience, and that will hopefully have had some kind of transformative effect on the psyche. And I should imagine that for people who've undergone full immersion baptism, that was pretty powerful stuff, because I don't like being pushed underwater. You know, maybe it's a memory of a previous life or something, but no thanks. So, but it must be pretty powerful stuff anyway. So I hope this has given you an insight into why people might, inflict seemingly unpleasant experiences on other people. It's in order to create that magical self, that magical rebirth, that allows you to access a new level of consciousness. And it can be very, very powerful and transformative. So if you want to find out more about this, you can read my book, Dark Mirror, The Inner Work of Witchcraft. Also got a section on it in The Night Journey, Witchcraft as Transformation. Both of these are available from the Doreen Valiente Foundation online shop. And also I've written about the different aspects of initiation in All Acts of Love and Pleasure, Inclusive Wicca, which is available from Avalonia Books. And all my books are available in the usual online stores. If you can't get them from one particular online store, then feel free to request that they stock the books, because that will be really helpful. Okay, take care out there. Blessed be.